Hello, my dear students. Today I am going to discuss with you a very important topic, that is steps in hypothesis testing. Do you know what is meant by hypothesis? It has been discussed in the earlier lectures. Hypothesis is the wise and educated guess, a wise statement. Okay, in this session, we'll discuss the steps. Coming towards those steps, the first step is formulate the hypothesis. And you know that there are two main types of hypothesis. One is null hypothesis, the other one is alternative hypothesis. By null hypothesis, we mean that there is no difference, there is no effect, or you may say that there is no relationship between the variables. And we will discuss an example. For example, the example is like we are going to find out the difference between the mean hemoglobin level of males and females in a population. So in that context, the null hypothesis will be there is no difference in the mean hemoglobin level between males and females in population A. So this is null hypothesis. So what will be the alternative hypothesis? The alternative hypothesis will be there is significant difference in the mean hemoglobin level between males and females in population A. So this is the first step to formulate hypothesis, which are of two types, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Now coming towards the second step, which is select the significance level, that is alpha. You know what is meant by alpha? Alpha is the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when it is actually true, and normally it is set at 0.05. By this we mean that we are going to accept the 5% error while rejecting null hypothesis. So it means that alpha will be normally 0.05. Now coming toward the third step. Third step is choose the appropriate statistical test. Yes. Now we will choose an appropriate test based on our data, based on our null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So in this case, we will use independent sample t-test. Why? Because this test is used when there are two groups and we are going to compare the means of two groups, because we are going to compare the hemoglobin level of two groups, male and female. So independent t-test will be used. And if the scenario is different, we can also use other tests, significant test. For example, chi-square test can also be used when there are categorical variables and we are going to find out relationship between these categorical variables. For example, we are comparing a disease status. For example, disease yes or no, disease present or not present, yes, no, and gender, that is male and female, female and male. So we are going to compare the disease status in male and female. So all these are categorical variables, so in that case we will be using chi-square test. And similarly, we can use ANOVA, analysis of variance. So when we will use ANOVA will be used when we will be going to compare the mean of 3 or more than 3 groups. 3 or more than 3 groups, and we are going to compare means. In that case we will use ANOVA test, and so on. In this case we will use independent sample t-test. Appropriate statistical test will be chosen, the third step. Now coming toward the fourth step. Fourth step is collect and organize data. For example, in our case, we are comparing the mean hemoglobin level of 50 male and 50 females. So in that case, the data will be like N1 will be 50, and similarly N2 will also be 50 male and 50 female. And now the mean hemoglobin level in male will be, for example, 15.5 gram per deciliter, and similarly mean hemoglobin level of female, for example, it is represented by x bar 2 mean 2 hemoglobin, that is 15.3 gram per deciliter, and standard deviation here is 1.5, and here it is standard deviation to 1.0 gram per deciliter. Okay, so this step is the collection and organization of data. Now after that, what we will do, the fifth step is calculate the test statistic. In our case, the test was independent sample t-test. Now we will find out the value of that test statistic. For example, in our case, we found the t-value to be 2.5. Now on the basis of this 2.5, this t-value, we will find out the p-value in the next step. Coming towards the step 6, this one, so find out the p-value. So after calculating the t-value, we will find the p-value, and in this case, for example, it is 0.015. Now what we will do in the 7th step, after calculating the p-value, we will take some decision. For example, step 7 is make a decision. What will be the decision? The decision will be based on the p-value, and it may be to reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject the null hypothesis. But in our case, you know that the p-value was just a minor. P-value was 0.015, which is less than the alpha. The alpha is normally set at 0.05, and here in our case the p-value is less than that alpha. Whenever the p-value is less than alpha significance level, so we will reject the null hypothesis. So we rejected the null hypothesis. What does this mean? The null hypothesis was that there is no difference between the hemoglobin level of male and female in a population A. And when we reject this statement, it means that there is some difference between the hemoglobin level of male and female in that population A. So coming towards the 8th step, which is draw some conclusion. Yes, so what will be our conclusion? Based on our decision, we conclude that there is significant difference in the mean hemoglobin level between male and female in population A. So these were the steps of hypothesis. So keep learning, and see you in the next video. Okay, bye.